Adam, I can't breathe. I got you. I'm not going anywhere. That's not the moment you clicked for. You clicked for the elevator. You clicked for the kiss. But that panic room, Season 2, Episode 12, that's the moment the internet actually can't let go of. Hold on to it. We're coming back to it. Here's the real question before we even start, though. Does this show actually want you to have this? We need to talk about Morgadec. The incompatibility. Start with the version of these two that has nothing to do with romance. They arrive together at a veterinarian's office where the doctor is dead of what looks like a simple heart attack until the office printer disagrees because somehow it's been printing the word murder on a loop. In the middle of that case, Karadec touches something that may have touched spilled apple juice and insists on washing his hands before he'll even put gloves on. Minutes later, there's a poison dart frog loose in a soap dispenser, and Morgan has to stop him from reaching in barehanded. A few episodes on, standing with the rest of the team at a crime scene soaked in exactly what you'd expect from a children's playground during flu season, he pulls a bottle of hand sanitizer straight out of his pocket. This is not a slow burn setup. This is a character with a genuine cleanliness problem, partnered with someone whose entire job is other people's worst days. The first time someone got red. The first real shift happens in a hotel bar, months into the partnership. Karadec asks how she guessed his drink order. Morgan tells him she's been cleaning up in major crimes long enough to know him better than he knows himself.
Car up every 2 weeks at the same spot next to Union Station. You love yourself a French dip from Philippe's, you avoid the 405 at all costs, and your favorite donut is not a donut. It's an apple fritter.
Then proves it. The gas station near Union Station, he fills up at every 2 weeks. The French dip from Philippe's. The way he'll drive out of his way to avoid the 405. And the detail that actually lands. His favorite donut isn't a donut. It's an apple fritter. He asks where his fritter is right now, half joking. She tells him she hasn't decided if she likes him yet. And seconds later, the bartender they've been questioning realizes he's been made, bolts for the door, and Karadec's up and after him before the alarm even finishes blaring. That would be the whole scene, except hours later, back at an empty office, she tells him she'll see him tomorrow and leaves. He turns around to find a small box sitting on his desk. Inside it, a fritter. He takes a bite, a quiet, satisfied sound, and nobody hears it but him. That's the part that matters. The show didn't need an audience inside the scene. It just needed you. She taught him a language. Here's the scene that gets skipped over the most, and it shouldn't be. Karadec tells Morgan, flatly, that he knows her silences. She pushes back. It's not a thing. He disagrees, and then does something no one else on this show ever does to her. He catalogs it. There's family drama quiet, brow furrowed, fingers picking at her cuticles like she's digging up a secret. There's case frustration quiet, jaw tight, eyes scanning like she's mentally taking a crime scene apart. There's the pissed at me quiet, a stone-cold stare, a flare of the nostrils, a classic, he calls it. And then there's the one he saves for last, the something you want to say quiet. Lips pursed, a distant look. He's not guessing. This is a man who has spent enough silent car rides and stakeouts studying her that he can name her moods without her saying a word. It's the exact same instinct she used on him in that hotel bar, running in reverse, except this time it's not a party trick to solve a case. It's just how well he's learned to read her. He kept choosing to stay. None of what happens next is one big scene. It's a pattern, and patterns are boring to list chronologically. So here's the shape of it instead. There's the night Morgan shows up at his apartment uninvited, texting him a takeout menu first because she knows he's still working the case, and she is too. He lets her in reluctantly. His apartment is not a crime scene, he tells her, and then spends the rest of the night doing exactly the thing he just said this place wasn't for. There's the moment he admits to Soto that his old FBI partner sees Morgan exactly the way he used to, before he found out what she's actually worth, and that whatever the risk is, he's taking it anyway. There's the moment that same partner offers him his old job back, and he doesn't take a night to think about it. He turns it down on the spot. This department is where he wants to be, he says, and he has a new partner now. There's a gala where he tells her, unprompted, that they've come a long way. And later, in a conversation that has nothing to do with her at all, someone asks what's different about him lately, and he doesn't dodge it. He credits his partner. If you're the kind of viewer who rewatches for exactly this channel exists for you. Subscribing means you catch the next one of these before it disappears into your feed. Why the elevator isn't the answer. Now go back to the scene everyone actually cites, because it's usually cited wrong. Late in season 2, Wagner catches the man who killed his fiancée. Separately, and this is the part that gets flattened out, there's an earlier night when a drunk, grieving Wagner needs to be brought home after that same investigation, and for one unguarded moment, the two of them get close enough that it almost happens. It doesn't. That's not the kiss people remember. The one people remember happens later, by an elevator, where Morgan, steady, composed, asks Wagner if he's okay. He kisses her. "I am," he tells her after. "Good night, Morgan." Karadec is nowhere in this scene. Not lurking, not subtext. He's happy with Lucia at this point in the story, and nothing in the text suggests Morgan is thinking about him at all. If you're building a case for Morgadec, the elevator was never it. That scene belongs entirely to Wagner. The scene you actually clicked for. So go back to the panic room. Morgan's trapped, convinced she's been gassed, trying to ground herself by naming what she can hear, what she can smell, and it doesn't hold. She's thinking about a daughter who's already lost one parent, and the panic wins.
I can't breathe. Adam, I can't breathe. Just don't. I can't breathe. Please don't. It's okay. It's not okay.
Adam, I can't breathe. He doesn't explain himself, doesn't try to talk her down with logic. I got you. I'm not going anywhere. And what actually calms her isn't the words. It's noticing his breathing, steady against her own, pulling hers down with it. Now look at how close the mirror sits. A handful of episodes later, in the season finale, Lucia gets arrested, and it's Karadec who falls apart. This time, Morgan is the one who holds him together. What the French original did differently. For context, the original French series this show is adapted from, HP Mind, made a very different choice. It's Morgan and Karadec actually kissed, actually had a child together, actually lived under one roof, repeatedly, messily, across 5 seasons. Even so, the actor playing Karadec spent years publicly doubting the two of them worked better as anything other than a friendship that occasionally slipped into something more. When the French show ended, its writers chose to leave things unresolved on purpose, rather than hand the audience a tidy couple. High Potential has taken the opposite bet so far. Nothing physical, nothing spoken, everything routed through Wagner instead. Same premise, same partnership, completely different appetite for risk. The meta question. So, does this show actually want you to have this? Caitlin Olsen has said, repeatedly across almost a year of interviews, that this is a deliberate slow burn, that an answer is coming on the show's own schedule, not the fandom's. The showrunner behind these 2 seasons said something close to it before he left after the finale, for another project. He's known for planning things out slowly, and he loves a slow burn. It's not exactly a secret anymore either. Soto clocked the shift as early as season 1, asking Karadec point blank who's rubbing off on him. By season 2, Karadec says it himself, to his own girlfriend. He thinks it has a lot to do with his new partner. Here's the complication nobody's rushing to solve. Wagner, last seen bleeding out, cause still unconfirmed, may not make it back for season 3. If he doesn't, the entire chain of command shifts. Does Soto finally get the promotion she's arguably been owed since season 1? Does Karadec move into whatever role that leaves open? Can a show survive its 2 leads getting together? Maybe. What's harder to survive is losing the exact structure that puts them in the same room every single day. Because take the job away, and the pairing barely makes sense. Morgan once broke down exactly how each of them organizes their lives, using her own private taxonomy. Ladybugs, who need lots of storage to hide their mess. Bees, methodical and efficient. Crickets, neat and orderly, with just a couple of sentimental items front and center. She calls herself a ladybug. She calls him a cricket. He needs order. She needs somewhere to hide the mess she makes getting to the answer 30 seconds faster than anyone else in the room. What actually works between them is quieter than chemistry, a loyalty that doesn't announce itself, and a kind of care neither of them would call by its name. That's the actual bet Morgadec is making. Not whether they get together, whether the show can afford it if they do. So no, there's still no scene where either of them says it. There's a Fritter box that made one grown man chuckle alone at his desk, 4 kinds of silence only one person on this show can name, and a breathing pattern that calmed a panic attack neither of them has mentioned since. That's the actual case for Morgadec. Not one moment. The sum of every one the show trusted you to catch on your own. Which one would you have picked? Tell us below. Runtime. For the fans who watch twice.